Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, President Trump came into office saying that he would make IVF free. Instead, not only has the president not done a thing to lower the cost of IVF, he stood by now as Speaker Johnson cut a very straightforward provision to make IVF more affordable for service members as part of this year's NDAA. And on that note, I'm really disappointed to see that my Veteran Families Health Services Act was left off of the agenda today. That bill would give more service members and veterans the opportunity to grow their families, including through IVF, by expanding the fertility services that are covered under VA and DoD health care. It just seems like Republicans in this administration really talk a big game about IVF, but when it comes to actual policy, it's pretty clear who's in the driver's seat: anti-abortion extremists like Speaker Johnson. So I think just want to make it clear, I think it's pretty outrageous that Republicans won't lift a finger to help our service members, or anyone for that matter, to access IVF, and I think it is really important everybody here understands that. Dr. O'Toole, are you aware that service members face a higher rate of infertility compared to the rest of the population?
I'm not directly familiar with it, ma'am, but I take your word on it.
Well, it is true, and our service members, as we all know, lay their lives on the line for our country, and I really believe, and I think many people do, that the least we can do is help them start their families when they come home. So again, I'm registering my deep disappointment and hope that that can change. Let me move on. As the daughter of a Purple Heart veteran, I know how much they sacrifice for our country. I take seriously our responsibility to be there for them when they need it the most. And unfortunately, right now, not all Purple Heart veterans are treated equally when it comes to their benefits. For example, post 9/11 veterans can transfer their GI benefits to their descendants while they're still in service. However, one of my constituents reached out to tell me about a problem he was facing because he received his Purple Heart after his service and was unable to transfer his GI Bill benefits to his daughter when she was looking to go to college. So the bill that I'm offering, which I'm glad to see on the agenda today, would fix that loophole. Ms. Devlin, you mentioned you wanted to see some changes, but let me just ask you, are you supportive of this legislation?
We do support the intent of this, and it's really technical amendments to ensure Department of War is involved in the process as they make they're responsible for the process of transferring eligibility.
Well, I'm happy to talk with you about what your recommendations are, but I think this is a really important piece of legislation. I hope we can move on it. And let me ask about the Molly R. Loomis Research for Descendants of Toxic Exposed Veterans Act. This is a bill that's really near and dear to me. Molly is a Washington State resident. She was born with spina bifida, and it's believed to be caused by her father's exposure to Agent Orange when he served in Vietnam. And despite research showing descendants of toxic exposed veterans experience lifelong medical issues, there has yet to be a comprehensive government-led study of this issue. So my bill simply takes a very critical step forward by requiring research on health conditions that are prevalent in the descendants of veterans who were exposed to toxic substances during their service. Ms. Devlin, talk a little bit first about how this research would prepare VA to help future generations of veterans who've been affected by toxic exposure.
Thank you for the question. We take research objectives very seriously, and of course, for individuals with spina bifida whose parents were exposed to toxic substances, there is the Chapter 18 program which supports them, and that program continues today to support those dependents. There has been no significant association that we've seen through the National Academy of Science research to indicate that there is generational impacts based on toxic exposures. But we do have the infrastructure in place, and in fact, with the PACT Act, we have the infrastructure in place to determine that which research objectives to take on with the working groups that exist already.
Well, it's my understanding that there is research showing that descendants of toxic exposed veterans do experience lifelong medical issues. I think it is really important for us to look at this to make sure they are getting the support they need. So I thank you for your inclusion of this bill on the agenda today.
Senator Murray, thank you. I have taken an interest a long time ago in regard to next generation affecting the next generation by service of their parents or their grandparents, and look forward to working with you on this and other pieces of legislation.
Thank you.
Senator Kramer.